What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Dev back again for the final top. Actually, no, I still got one more to go. Actually, I got two more videos to go. So, but this is the final top videos of the best, like the best. You know what I'm saying? This is the last positive because I still got worst lyrics. Oh no, I still got top artists of 2020. It is January 1st though, so happy New Year's to each and every one of y'all out there. I am still kicking it with the list videos going into 2021. Doesn't even feel like 2021, I must tell you guys. RIP to MF Doom before I actually start this video. So before we continue, let's just get a moment of silence for the news that we got of MF Doom. But it's just unfortunate how desensitized I have become, you know, saying that, because it's been so many deaths we have gotten in the last year and a half that at this point it seems like it's a bit normal, as crazy and wild that sounds, you know, that sounds, but it's just that's how common it's become. But we're going to do my top 15 albums of the year. Now remember guys, it's gonna be a little different. All right, this is how I feel, and I don't expect you guys to agree, but these are personally my favorite albums of the year and why I rated them. Not that they're like probably the best albums of the year, but in terms of like popularity, in terms of how I connected to them, in terms of just, you know, how great they sound and how well put together they are, I just had to put them in my top 15. And I know a lot of you guys may not agree with a couple of these on here. Actually, I know you're not going to agree with a couple of these on here, but that's what makes us human. That's what makes us you know, very unique. We all like what we like, and you know, that's the beautiful thing about everything. You know, we all are our own people. You know, we all can decide what we want. So we're just gonna start the list. I don't want to talk y'all ears off. We're just gonna start the list. Number 15 is Amine Limbo. Now I heard this project, man, and I gotta say, man, this is kind of my favorite project because I love the growth of Amine. I love that, you know, he keeps getting better and better with his quality. I feel like he's growing within each and every project. He's definitely come a long way from the Caroline days, and I feel like, you know, he's definitely finding his sound. He's becoming, I feel like he's becoming the J. Cole of y'all era. You know, like he's becoming that artist that is very underrated but heavily appreciated by the fans out there. You know, he definitely has a lot of support going for him, and I feel like he's slowly and surely finding his sound. He's becoming a very conscious, woke rapper, you know, that has bars but can still have a little fun on the production. I felt like Limbo was one of those albums where it wasn't too long, the production was there. My favorite track, it actually made my top 50 list on the album. What was it called? My Reality actually made my top 50 tracks of the year. Actually, it was my honorable mentions. That's what it was. So it made my top 50 tracks of the year. So I thought that was pretty cool, man. I think it was a great album from start to finish. Not the best album of the year, but it was definitely one of the runners-ups and one of the tops to kind of just, you know, entice your ears if you want to listen to something new and very refreshing, you know, from the trap, aside from the trap that we're getting in 2020. Number 14 is Thundercat. It Is What It Is. I think that Thunderkitty is always going to be an artist that I'm going to support. I feel like he always sneaks his way. Whenever he creates an album, he always sneaks his way into my top albums of the year. It's just something about those very funky productions and the bass, you know, the bass strings kind of just hitting. I feel like I'm a sucker for instrumentation. I think that, you know, Thundercat is always going to be surrounded by great production. It is whether or not is he going to bring a track that is sonically pleasing to a lot of the people. Now, I feel like he has a very distinct sound that, you know, only a couple people or some people are going to like. But I feel like with this album, it's not better than Drunk. I would say that, as you guys can see, Drunk is right here. But I think that he covered all that he needed to cover. He got a lot of stuff off of his chest. It is what it is. Definitely still growing through he's still going through the pain of losing Mac Miller, one of his dear friends. Having the track It Is What It Is. It is what it is. You know, having that. Funny Thing was my number 3 track of the year. I think Funny Thing was it number 5? It was one of those. It was up there in my top 10. I think Funny Thing, it becoming the TikTok song that it was, very lively, very happy, very funky, you know, giving that soul. I think that it covered a lot. It still gave the eccentric personality of, you know, Thundercat, but at the same time showing how hurt he is, but also coming to terms and understanding that it is what it is. There's nothing you can really control, and sometimes you just kind of accept that. That's what the whole kind of the definition of the album. It was just, it is what it is in life. That's kind of how you have to look at life nowadays. You know, you just, nothing you can control in your hands. You kind of have to just go through the motions and go through it. And, you know, it is what it is. I think that's the best way to describe it. So that was my number 14 album of the year. Number 13 is Machine Gun Kelly, Tickets to My Downfall. I think that this album, a lot of people hated this album. I'm probably one of the only few reviewers that actually praised it and enjoyed it. I believe John Denton liked it. I know Sean hated it. Tabby was on the fence about it. I think that there's a lot of people just really didn't fuck with it. And for me, man, TC liked it as well. So there's a couple people that actually fucked with it. But for the most part, by the community, by, you know, hip hop Twitter, you know, they disliked it. Again, I think that it was a great step. Not saying a great step in MGK's career, but I think it was just a good leap that he did. You know, I know he's been inching towards, he's always had rock elements into his sound, but having a full-fledged kind of rock album produced by Travis Barker from Blink-182, hence the Blink-182 comparisons, having Megan Fox in there, that track was actually fire, having a narrative, you know, looking at that they were just kind of just having a talk, and I thought that was kind of cool through the voice message. I think that album was just very heartfelt. I think that, yes, it didn't dive deep, and it was very surface level from a punk rock standpoint and, you know, from a rock standpoint in general. But I think that if you have someone who is as legendary as Travis Barker, I think that, you know, us as normal people and normal listeners, I had one dude try to tell me he was like the punk god of gods and that he knew everything and what it meant and what real punk rock was. And I think Travis Barker has an idea as being one of the, you know, best drummers of all time, and part of one of the most legendary groups of all time, you know, in Blink-182. I think that he knows exactly, you know, what to do. So I feel like when MGK kind of did this, a lot of people didn't receive it well, because it is not something that is, you know, it's not something that's listened to nowadays. A lot of people aren't listening to rock music in 2020, 2019, 2021. No one is listening to rock music, all right? It's become a genre that's forgotten, and I think that when you have artists like Juice WRLD and X who did it, and they were magnified and glorified for it, and when someone who actually makes a rock album, you would think that him being a white artist, that him making a rock album wouldn't be bad. But again, Eminem stands took place in there. You know, they had their sayings about it. Just because he got dissed 2 years ago does not have a reflection on, you know, him doing a rock album. I thought that was pretty crazy what I heard too. I love the cover art. You know, very punk rockish. It just gave me a nostalgia feel. I didn't have it too high on the list, but I had to include it in my top 15 list because it just gave me a feel of me being 12, 11 again, me being 13, back in 19, you know, I'm not even, y'all know how old I am, but back in, you know, the early 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s, being a teenager, listening to all the rock music, man, it just reminded me of those times, so I had to include her in there, man. I think that I like the attempt from Machine Gun Kelly, and I think it was a great, well-produced track or album from Travis Barker. So number 12 is New Toronto, Tory Lanez, New Toronto 3 to be exact. I think that with all the allegations, well, this is before the allegations, so I think that with all the allegations, a lot of people has already counted out Tory Lanez, and I forgot about how great that New Toronto project is. I think that this is his best New Toronto. His best New Toronto to date. You know, Tory Lanez has over 1,000 songs, and I feel like with every Fargo Friday and everything that he's released from mixtape to album wise up to this point in his career, it's felt like it's been at least 500 to 1,000 songs that have been released by Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez finally got free from his label. He dropped this. I think that he was having a great year all up until the whole Meg Thee Stallion situation, and I think that, you know, this kind of went a lot over people's radar. I told you guys, Pain was my number 3 track of the year. It was either 3 or 4, I believe. I gotta say that Pain was one of those tracks. Again, it makes you feel like if you have been through the struggle, I think that Tory Lanez knows how to do that really well now. He knows how to kind of give you that struggle music where, you know, you come from nothing. It's very motivational the way he's speaking. He definitely uses the auto-tune very well all throughout the project. Pricey Spicy, Pain, Adidas. I think that all these tracks, there was really not a bad track on that album. Now, there's a few, like, kind of just where I'm just like, oh, whatever, but I don't think there was a bad track on that album. I think that he definitely did his thing on there where he had very uppity beats on there and very partying type tracks. But but at the same time giving you the motivational speaker he is in Tory Lanez, kind of showing you that he came from nothing, from the Toronto streets to the superstar that he is now. But again, a lot of that got really covered and veiled with the whole Meg Thee Stallion situation that I believe is still kind of going on right now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not fake like you guys that act like I fake care. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people saying this, and that, and really don't give a fuck. Just like myself, I truly don't give a fuck. That has nothing to do with my life. Anyways, like, has nothing to do with my life. Number 11 is Don Toliver, Heaven or Hell. This album came out early, and I will admit, I did give it to Album of the Year praise right when it came out. I definitely felt some type of way. But you got to remember, man, it came out early in the year. It was in February. It definitely was a great album. I'm not going to sit there and act like Donnie didn't do his thing. You guys know I'm one of the big Don Toliver supporters. And I think that he has a unique sound to him as well. If you're unique and diverse and you have a variety to you, I'm going to fuck with you, all right? I feel like we don't get enough of that in today's music. So when someone's standing out, usually it's for the best, unless you're 645 AR. So I think Don Toliver with Heaven or Hell, he had great tracks. He had great tracks on there. After Party, we all know how that's the motherfucking go 125 on a speedway. You guys saw my reaction video to that. We had Don Toliver, Heaven or Hell. We had Wasted. We had Candy. There's a lot of tracks on there. Euphoria with Travis Scott. I think that was, he had a lot of tracks on there that just made you feel. It introduced a lot of people to Don Toliver. I told you guys that Don Toliver was going to have a great year. And again, remember I said the great year list, all right? It's still coming. Remember I told you guys Don Toliver had a great year. And it was expected after what he did in 2019, how he ended it with the 3-track Situation. He had Situation. I'm in a situation. And then he had the other one. Can't Feel My Face. That was another one that he had on there. So I think that he did exactly what he was supposed to do in 2020. Now, I think the album just came out a little too early and I had a lot of time to sit on it. And I feel like there was a lot of albums that were just better than it, but it's not a bad album. It's a number 11 album for me. And I still, to this day, still listen to After Party and Wasted. Still some of my favorite tracks from that album. So, number 10. Now, number 10 is going to throw you guys off. It's going to throw a lot of you guys off, actually. And I love it when I have these artists that I want to put out there and they actually like support me and follow me. This is the crazy part. It all works hands in hand. The time where me and Sylvan LaQ got close, Sylvan LaQ started supporting me. And now even here, Down to Earth. Down to Earth Atlantis. I know a lot of you guys don't know who this is or have not even listened to Atlantis. I advise you. Same thing with Blood Orange. I'm so mad that I did not listen to Blood Orange. As you guys can see, he's right here. Negro Swan was one of those albums that I missed out on, but I did not miss out on Down to Earth Atlantis. That was probably one of my favorite projects of the year. I don't know how to really explain what kind of sound he has. He has a high-pitched sound in an R&B-ish way, not in a baby voice type way, but he has a high-pitched sound, but it's trap. So it's like high-pitched trap. And I felt like a lot of tracks on there. Moonrock was my top 10 slow track of the year. Also having Analog 001, which is my number 2 track of the year, I believe. Or was that Vibrate? I think it was number 4. But Analog 001, you guys know how I feel about those techno-type electronic outer space vibes. The album was exactly what it said, Atlantis. It sounded like you were in the water and you were in this kind of outer space feel, but it was outer space under seas. And I felt like a lot of the beats were just really wavy. You just want to kind of just do the ooh, ooh. Like if you haven't heard of Down to Earth, I first got exposed to him with Logic when he did In the Field Baller with the Team. He did that, and I felt like that was one of the best hooks I've heard all year. That it was very addicting. Logic's verse was okay, but I just think that Down to Earth kind of just got his name right there. That was a little bit of exposure for him, so I had to check out his album, and I love him, dog. Like he gives you that vibe. If you want to kind of just chill out, you want to smoke a blunt, you want to drink some Henny, you want to get a vibe, you want to enjoy some music, I feel like Down to Earth is right in your lane. A lot of you guys that indulge in the drugs, that indulge in alcohol, whatever, I feel like this is the kind of artist that you enjoy. He kind of reminds me, if I had to put a comparison to him, he kind of reminds me of a PNB Rock, but a little higher and a bit more R&B-ish than PNB Rock, because PNB Rock is more trappish. All right, so I feel like if you want to get into somebody that's really indie, somebody that's really kind of just wavy, then Down to Earth Atlantis is the album for you. Go peep it. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you dislike it. I promise you won't be disappointed. My top 10 album of the year. Number 9 is 070Shake. Modest Vindy, however you want to say it. Now, this is an album that came out literally in the beginning of the year. I believe it came out the second week of January. Became my favorite, one of my favorites. We all know 070Shake from I wanna free. If you guys have not watched that Ghost Town reaction, I advise you go watch that Ghost Town reaction from I thought about, you know what, doing to myself. From Kanye. I think that 070Shake, again, she has one of the voices of, she just has one of those voices that's really touching. I wouldn't say she's the best singer, but she has one of those voices that's really touching on your heart. Two of the tracks that I loved, obviously, my number 1 track of the year was Guilty Conscious. That was my number 1 track of the year. Both slowed and, was it? No. Guilty Conscious was my top 5 in regular songs, and it was number 1 in slow music. So I thought that it was just amazing, you know, right there from Guilty Conscience. Also, microdosing, boom, 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 bah. Had like a little bit of African style, you know, a little bit of like that kind of feel like that. I feel like the album is very like indie rock, but not rock. She reminds me of a female Cudi if I had to compare her to her. I don't really know how to explain the album. It's more of just something that you kind of just get lost into. You know, the album cover is actually pretty cool too as well. You know, she looks like a little robot. With the orange and the purple accent, so I think that's kind of cool. Just go check out the album for yourself. That's really what it is. Go check out the album for yourself. Modest Vindy. I think that 070Shake deserves that. How do you say it? 070Shake? 070, same thing. All right. Go check that album out. It's definitely a refreshing listen. So that's number 9. Number 8 is Westside Gunn, Pray for Paris. Now the Griseldas, man, the Griselda crew, they did their thing this year. I gotta say, man, that Pray for Paris, Claiborne Kick is literally why I put this. Claiborne Kick, I can't tell you how many times I listen to her. Raw is, I still don't know what he said after that, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, I think that Westside Gunn, just the way he raps, you know, he reminds me of Lloyd Banks. The modern day Lloyd Banks. I know a lot of you guys don't like to compare, but I just like to compare. That's just how I do music sometimes because it reminds me of some of the artists that I, you know, when I was growing up. But he reminds me of a Lloyd Banks, all right? And I think that Westside Gunn is kind of just flowing all through these beats. I love the WWE or WWF references, Attitude Era. I am an Attitude Era baby, all right? I love how he has a lot of the, wrestling references in there. I think that was a pretty cool touch, especially someone who is, you know, young, old, and you know can relate to that. I think that I love he had all like the Jerichos he had in there, and he had I think he had a Jerry Ross Jerry Lawyer and in there as well that I remember. I think that for him he could just rap his ass off. In terms of rap album, this was a top 5 rap album of the year, and I think that if you're into like the boom bap type feel, you into kind of just the very gritty, very dark type beats vibes, this is going to be the album for you. This is going to be one of those albums. Also, you know, it could, like the Claiborne Kick, it just felt like the I don't even know how to explain that. It's just a great album from start to finish. There was a lot of features on there. That's the only complaint I really have about the album. There's a lot of features on there. I wish it would have just kind of just been Westside Gunn, but there's a lot of features on there. But other than that, though, I don't know who was on the production. I'm still figuring it out as I go on. I don't really like to look. I literally just like to listen. But there was a he had a great production on there, and that's what's expected to be when it's Griselda. So I think that, you know, I personally still think that is the best rap album. I think that's the best album that Griselda released here from the Griselda crew between Conway and Benny. I think that's the best one, but I don't know. I'll explain a little bit later. All right. Number 7. All right, a lot of you guys are probably gonna be mad about it. But guess what? I don't give a fuck. It's my channel. I'm gonna do what I want. I think this is deserving. I feel like I can't be the only one that feels like that. I feel like a lot of people are very surprised, right? Very surprised that he actually dropped something great. And that's not even me being a Gunna fan. Look, this is me just being realistic. Like, let's throw the bias out the window, bro. Like, think about it, man. I know a lot of stuff. I said Gunna was going to be another artist between Don Toliver, Gunna. I said a lot of people were gonna have a great years in 2020 last year, and I think that Gunna is one of those where I did not expect him to exceed Drip or Drown 2. I didn't think that Drip or Drown 2 could be surpassed because as you can see, it's right there. And Wanna is right here. And I feel like, yes, I listen to, Drip or Drown. I listen to Drip Season. I listen to the one with Belly and the Beast and I'm a grind, and that money talking favorite conversation. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So I think that I didn't think he was going to exceed Drip or Drown 2, which was my favorite album from him. And he did it. I think that now I will say this. I don't think I'm going to like another project as much as I like Wanna. I think that Wanna was just the perfect example of what a trap album should be. All right? When you go into a trap album, you want to hear about drugs, bitches, getting fucked up, being rich. You want to get that allure. That's the allure of trap. When you look at probably the greatest trap album of all time, I say there's two great trap albums of all time. One is Young Jeezy, Thug Motivation 101, which is the greatest trap album of all time. Because trap has two different sounds now, or two different meanings from what it was back then and what it is now. Trap before was more about a lifestyle. Right? The lifestyle that trap brought along, the trapping, the drugs, the alcohol. Well, I feel like, yeah, that still has the content now in 2020, 2019 of what trap, even 2015 of trap. And I say that Future's Dirty Sprite 2 is the best trap album of all time in terms of sound. The trap sound, because that's what trap is labeled as. It's not more about the context now. You're labeled as trap more about the sound. That's what trap is. Your trap sound. So I feel like both best albums of all time in their own regard. But I feel like right here is exactly what Wanna did. It gave you that allure of I'm rich. It gave you that allure of I'm gonna fuck your bitch. It gave you that allure of I'm gonna get money and stack. It gave you that allure of I'm gonna stunt. I'm gonna have fun. And the reason why I got the deluxe is because that's what solidified for me. I've listened to a lot of deluxe, and usually deluxe don't do good for me. But I feel like for him to have Relentless, to him for have Wanna Flow, which I thought was the best track on the album. Even though Met Gala is still hands down probably the most favorite out of everybody, including myself. But I feel like Wanna Flow is a 1A. Is a 1B, 1A. Like I feel like that's how it goes when it comes to Wanna Flow and Met Gala. Having Relentless on there, having Street Sweeper on there, having 200 for Lunch as the intro, which I thought gave it a different aesthetic. Remember, I guys told you guys how you put your albums in order. When you listen as a real listener, an album to determine if it's good or not. I just think it's that Wanna Flow. Now, do I agree with the album cover and the art? No. I think his album covers have been very trash. But it is what it is. At the same time, we are talking about the content of the album, not what the album cover is. I think that if this was a summer non-COVID, I think this would have been album of the summer. I feel like this is exactly what a trap album should consist of. A lot of fun throughout this album. I didn't get bored. I feel like every album has something slow, has something about bitches, had one of them bitches anthems, with Dirty Diana. I had a flex track Dollars on My Head, 200 for Lunch, Wanna Flow being another flex track. And then I also, I feel like he had Faint on there as well. There's a lot of great tracks on here. Pick your poison, whichever one you like. I think there was only 2 tracks on here that I did not like. 2 tracks on here. I forget which they're. Not Skyboss. Skyboss was one that grew on me. There was the other one I didn't. Fuck. I'll get back to when I remember it. But I think that a lot of Sun Came Out was another one that came out on the deluxe that initially was teased on the regular, but it came out on deluxe. I just think that it was a complete album. I can't think about another album that I've actually had fun with. And I think that the fact that I didn't have to take it too serious and I kind of just enjoyed it and already downplayed it and didn't expect it to be better than Drip or Drown 2. I think that's kind of just what helped me to put it at 7. And I felt like, aside from all the memes, like I'm looking at you guys straight in the face. Aside from all the memes, aside from all the fun we always have with the Gun of the Wanna Flows and follow them on Instagram and 16 speakers. And, I know we like to joke around like that. Even when I'm being serious, I like to joke around and play with you guys. But no, dead serious, man. I honestly feel like he deserved to have that 7th spot because he had one of the most fun albums of the year. And I felt like it was exactly what it was for a trap album. It was fun. He brought that light. He brought the pain, man. And shout out also to Turbo and Weezy. I'm not gonna sit there and give credit to Gunna. I feel like the pre-production, I felt like all the videos, the trailers leading up to it, the album was really brought well, and he did his thing. It was a great year for Gunna. So shout out Warner, man. I'm gonna give a round of applause. I know I spent a lot on there, but that's just how I feel, man. A lot of y'all, like, you know, like, don't look at me as a serious person for the most part, but that's me being serious. No joke aside, no bullshit. Like, that's really, I feel like, Stan or not, man, you got to give credit where credit is due. And that was a great album this year, man. That was a great album. It was very fun. So that was my number 7 album of the year. Number 6. My number 6 album of the year is Burden of Proof, Benny the Butcher. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know what, like, Westside Gunn is still my Pray for Paris is still my favorite album out of the Griselda this year. I just think that Burden of Proof is better, if that makes sense. It's not my favorite, but it's just better, right? Like, that's just how I feel. It makes sense in my head, at least. I think that Benny the Butcher definitely dropped the best album this year. Out of the Griselda crew. It gives you that old, you know, Freeway, that Kanye type feel, Rockefeller type shit. You know, I felt like we heard a reincarnation of Jay-Z. That shit sounded like some up north shit. It sounded like real hip-hop. New York hip-hop was back for a second. That's what it really sounded like. And we ain't talking about NY drill. We actually talking about NY boom bap. Or as my haters get mad when I say boom pap, we gonna call it boom pap. Because I know a lot of y'all get real mad when I say that. But I just think that was a great album, man. Having Dom Kennedy, Over the Limit, I thought it was a great track. One Way Flight, you know. No. You know, I think that Freddie Gibbs also had a great year as well. But I think One Way Flight featuring Freddie Gibbs, that was kind of where I was like, damn, this is a fire track. I love the intro track, Burden of Proof. I love Where Would I Go. I love the art cover. I thought the art cover was really cool. Him, you know, standing there with his chain and his watch, just kind of sitting there, eyes crossed out. I thought the album was complete, only having 12 tracks. Hit Boy being on there, Queen Naija. Shout out to the YouTube gang out there. Queen Naija as another feature as well. I thought that he hit it on all cylinders. One of the best rap albums, the second best rap album of the year. It gave a birth to me, kind of going back to remembering why I started listening to hip hop in the first place. I think that this album, Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof, a lot of you guys don't like to say that this is his best. A lot of you guys like to say Tanya Talk 3 is his best. I think that this is his best work, personally. I know that Hit Boy was producing a lot of these tracks, and I just think that when you have great production with great storytellers, because as a lyricist, you know, actually Benny's as a lyricist is also great. But I'm just saying, like, the way Benny can flow on a track, I think that's why you got to get great production. You know, example, Freddie Gibbs on with Alchemist. You know what I'm saying? Look at tracks like that, how Freddie Gibbs can literally just flow on some shit and sound motherfucking devious and kind of just, you know, sound like you a motherfucking kingpin. I think that's exactly what a lot of these real rappers need to bring back the flavor of hip hop, because it definitely has gone into a trap style, trap style hip hop. A lot of people just love the trap sound of hip hop. They love those type of beats where you can get hype, and I feel like boom bap and, you know, lyrical rap has just taken a back page. Shit, you know, it's for real though. Like, it's taking a back seat. Instead of back page, a back seat. So that's my number motherfucking 6. I gotta say right there, Benny the Butcher, man, you did your thing, had a great year. Now, let's get into our top 5. We're running on 30 minutes runtime right now, but what is new, I'm still talking. I told you it's gonna be a long video. Number 5, Brent Faiyaz, F the World. Y'all knew Brent was gonna be on here, alright? We are going now on 3 years that I've been listening to Brent Faiyaz. The motherfucker has not missed once. I can't tell you guys that last time I've heard a bad Brent Faiyaz track. And I don't even mean like, oh, this might be good. You know, it's not a bad track. I'm just not feeling it. I'm telling you, as a Brent Faiyaz track, I have not heard a bad Brent Faiyaz track. If you heard a bad Brent Faiyaz track, get in the comments below. I swear to God, the mother lover don't miss, bro. He really don't miss. And I think that he's going to continue his run because of his sound. I think that he reminds a lot of us, old heads at least, he reminds us a lot of early 90s, late 80s R&B. He just has that soul with him. I don't know how to say it, bro. The motherfucker can just sing, bro. Like, And I think that for him to drop this album, F Love, he's a new type of artist, I think. Because a lot of the comparisons go with Bryson Tiller and Brent, and you guys know how I feel about that. I've given you the real. I know a lot of Bryson fans don't like to hear it, but I gave y'all. I'm not even gonna repeat myself. Y'all know what I'm implying. But I think that Brent is a new genre because whereas Bryson gives you the lovey-dovey trap, I guess you could say trap. So I feel like Brent gives us the R&B side, and he's not even a trap artist. He gives you the R&B side, but he's also toxic as fuck. This man Brent Fires will literally sit here and I told y'all the verse he be giving. He'd be like, he said, I just picked your bitch up. I nutted all on her face. I put my dick on her lips. And then she went and kissed you on your face. Ooh, I love these bitches, yeah. But he'll make that shit sound so angelic and so soft tone that you actually think that, you hurt, but you not hurt. You just out here fucking other bitches gracefully. That's what you do. You fucking other niggas bitches gracefully. And I feel like that's exactly what Brent Faiyaz does. So I think that if Brent continues to do what he does, stay in his own lane, he's fired, bro. Like, he's not gonna miss. It would have to take some crazy production, like a different type of production he goes with whenever he does decide to miss. But for the most part, I think his sound is it's sticking to 2020, 2021, and it ain't going nowhere. Brent Faiyaz, again, we have Bluffin', Been Away, even slow Brent Faiyaz is crazy. Bluffin', Been Away, Clouded, Make It Out. Man, there were so many great tracks on that album. I just gotta say, man, and for it to be so short, we thought we were getting another one this year. I think that he's giving us that quality, and the fact that it's so short, he's bringing us in, he's reeling us in. Again, if you guys have not listened to Sonder Into, that's spelled SONDER -into, I advise you go listen to it from start to finish. I promise you, it will change your whole perspective, your whole outlook on Brent Faiyaz. Congrats, Brent Faiyaz, for having a top 5 album of the year in F the World. Shout out Brent Faiyaz. Number four, Childish Gambino. 3/15/20, also March 15, 20. That's when the album dropped. All right, thank you, Childish Gambino, for telling me. The only thing I do hate about this album, I cannot get this album on vinyl, because it was literally just a white piece of paper. So there's no vinyl. There's literally no album artwork to this. All right, it's just white. I thought that he had one of the best projects of the year. A lot of people assumed that this was going to be because of the internet successor. I did not agree. I love the direction he went into. It was like Andre 3000 mixed with Bobby Brown mixed with Childish Gambino into one album. I love the track that he did. A lot of tracks didn't have really names, but they did initially, but then he just labeled them as dates. But I love how he did Algorithm. I love how he did the track with Ariana Grande. I love the last 2 tracks. I love Vibrate. That's what the track was called, 21 Savage. I thought that was a crazy feature from 21 Savage because I did not expect him to kind of get on that funky soul type beat. Ooh, you're so divine. It definitely reminded me of A Love Below, and I had to include it in my top 5, bro. I felt like the man literally did his thing from start to finish. Like, I think that a lot of people overlooked that album because they were expecting a sound, but as you listen to it, as you gave it time, I think that it was a great album. I thought the one track he on there, Little Foot, Big Foot, Get Out the Way. I love that. Like, I like that. It had that kind of like rodeo type, country type vibe. Like you were going on a rodeo and shit. Hillbilly type music, I guess you could call it. I thought that was a great track. If you listen to it more and more, and then it switches towards the transition, I think that Childish Gambino is just a genius. The way he's singing, like his singing is he does it in his own way, and like he reminded me of Bobby Brown on a lot of those tracks. One track on there sounded like Prerogative. I believe it was the track after the Ariana Grande track, but I think that he was kind of just doing his own thing. He had a boom 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 boom. I think that it was pretty cool, very experimental. Childish Gambino just stepping out the lane. Again, if you're gonna try some variety shit and you're actually gonna do good, I'm gonna fuck with you. So hey, 3/16/15, 3/15/20, Great track. Number 4 album of the year. I gotta give it to him. Number 3. Number 3, I didn't feel like it was fair, but at the same time, fuck what y'all think. I think that it has to be like this. All right. Number 3 is Giveon. It Takes Time. I don't know if you guys saw my review, but go watch that review. All right, that's all I'm saying about that. Go watch the review. I feel like Giveon, It Takes Time. While it was only a 7-track EP, I think that Giveon's voice is the voice of gods. I think that this motherfucker is going to be the next one up. Like, I think that. I think that he's also going to be like a Brent Faiyaz where he's just not gonna miss. Actually, no, Giveon has missed. Let me rephrase that. I feel like he just has the voice that can't miss. His singing is crazy, but the fact that he could do it such at a deep tone, I think that's pretty amazing, man. That's very skillful, and not a lot of people are really doing that. You gotta look at the bigger picture, man. Drake did put Giveon on, but at the same time, Giveon is putting himself on with his talent. His talent was going to get him somewhere. He just needed a spark. If you have not listened to that, Beach House, Like I Want You. I know everybody has heard Like I Want You. And if you slow them all down, my goodness. We got that Beach House. We got that Favorite Mistake. I'm gonna keep it on. You know, they got that Favorite Mistake on there. I think there's a lot of tracks on there that you can really feel. And it's really one of the best R&B. Even though it was rather short, it's one of the best R&B, one of the most soulful albums or EPs of this year. And I advise you, go take you listen to that if you have not gotten it in your library yet. I swear to God, it will change your life. Number 2. Arguably, it is the best rap album of the year. Freddie Gibbs, Alfredo. I know I mentioned it earlier, but Freddie Gibbs dropped one of the best. I think that's the best work in his what's that called? This is the thing that sucks about me when I buy vinyls. When I buy vinyls, I gotta have a connection to your album. I can't have a connection to your album on a first listen. All right. I rarely do I buy people's vinyls on first listen. All these vinyls on my wall, I have a story. If you have not watched my vinyl videos, I've done 2 so far. I do owe you guys 2 more. I've done the Rodeo and I've done the Epiphany. I always have a story and a connection towards an album. So whenever you see these albums on the wall, there's stories connected to all these albums. There's, story times connected to each track. You know, it's just a connection that I need to have to the music. And only yourself and the music know that connection. So I feel like, for me, it took a little time for Alfredo to grow on me. And I think that, after hearing, look at me, that track on there, the Rick Ross feature was crazy on there. The 1985 was fire. I love how he had the Bernie Mac, and then he switched it to the cha cha cha. The stand-up we was talking about getting the whoopings. I thought that was pretty cool, man. I think the production from Alchemist was just crazy, man. Like I think that, man, like that's exactly what I talk about. Like when some of these top tier rappers, I won't say their names, but some of these top tier rappers don't know, when I say out of touch, because, you got a certain rap style. There's a reason why a certain rap style. Your ass just can't jump on motherfucking, Diplo and expect to be a lyrical rapper. And Freddie Gibbs and Diplo ain't going together. All right, that's just how it go. All right, so you got to stick to the Alchemist, the Mad Lib. You got to stick to what's great for you. And I feel like, I don't know, man. The in terms of rap album, that was just amazing, bro. That was an amazing experience. Scotty Bean, like start to finish, man, the album was just very, very grimy, very in your face. I also felt like, whenever Freddie Gibbs raps, this is the second year now. Last year, he made my honorable mentions, but this year I felt like it just all around, even from a rap album standpoint, it just sounded great. The way Freddie can just flow over any type of beat, he's definitely been very consistent. I think that he has not fallen off anytime soon, and he's definitely gone from that Young Jeezy shadow. I think Freddie Gibbs has made a name for himself in rap, and he will continue to make himself in rap. Now, as a mainstream, I don't know. He won't ever get there. But I feel like from a rap standpoint, in the rap community, hip-hop community, they all know who Freddie Gibbs is, and Freddie Gibbs has been giving us consistent albums back to back to back to back. And I think that we got to start recognizing Freddie Gibbs as, maybe being the best rapper of, I would say, the last 3 years. I think that Freddie Gibbs has earned that right to be considered a top 5 rapper in the last 3 to 2 years. So that's something we could all talk about later, not right now though. But I want to get to my number 1 album of the year. All right. First of all, before we start this, y'all know what my number 1 album is of the year. All right, y'all already know what it is. I have not named it. new stuff on the wall. Y'all know what my number one album is this year, all right? And if the Grammys ain't gonna give it to him, then Meami is gonna. The Meami Grammys is gonna give it to him, all right? And with the best album of the year on the Meami Grammys, all right, we got The Weeknd, After Hours. We all know that After Hours was going to be my number one album of the year. As much as I played it this year, as much as I slowed it down, the amazing year that The Weeknd has, I can't wait till I do my best artist of the year, because I feel like The Weeknd is either going to be 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't matter, but he's going to be up there. I think you can't take away from what The Weeknd did this year, man. He definitely impacted the year from start to finish. The hype was there. He brought even with the hype there, he brought it. Then gave us Deluxe, gave us Nothing Compares, gave us the slow shit, started doing shit with American Dad. He just did everything. Did a track with motherfucking Unwell. Was it Unwell? Yeah, or was it with Daddy Yankee? I don't know which one it was. One of the Spanish dudes, he did that track. The motherfucker I think it was Bad Bunny actually that he did it. So I feel like The Weeknd just had a great year and just got snubbed. Literally, it was highway robbery with The Weeknd. I think that we all can agree. Escape from LA, Escape from LA, Alone Again, After Hours, the track. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys love Hardest to Love. A lot of you guys love that Save Me track for the Tears or whatever it was. That was fire. Escape from LA, I already said. What was the other one that he had on there, man? Let's just go to the album, go through it one by one, because we can literally look at this album right here, and it was Heartless, Blinding Lights. You know what I'm saying? He had the remix on there with Rosario. What's the name again? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Alone Again, Too Late, Fire, Hardest to Love, Fire, Scared to Live, Fire, Snow Child, Fire, Escape from LA. Snow Child was the continuation from The Morning, from his first what's it called, House of Balloons. I know y'all like to call it trilogy. I'm an OG. I call it House of Balloons. I'm not saying I'm taking credit for being an OG. I'm just saying I am what I am. All right, y'all. I'm 30. Y'all 22. I can't help that I'm 30. All right, that's just what it is. All right, we got, Escape from LA, Fire, Heartless, Fire, Faith, Fire. I definitely slept on Faith. Faith was on the line track I slept on. Blinding Lights, Fire, In Your Eyes. That's a skip. Still skip. Save Your Tears. Still skip. Still skip. That's still skip. Repeat After Me, Interlude, Fire. After Hours, Fire. Until I Bleed Out, Fire. Nothing Compares, Fire. Missed You, Fire. Final Lullaby, Fire. It's just a fire album, bro. And I'm not even saying there and saying In Your Eyes or Save Your Tears are a bad track. I'm just saying I did not like the saxophone. It's a skip for me. I felt like it was a little bit of a Starboy type shit, and that's not what I was feeling. All right? Don't be mad at me for that, all right? So I got to say, man, The Weeknd had a great year. That is my top 15 2020 albums of the year. Have a great 2021. Hopefully you guys are doing great on the second, first day, third day, whenever this video comes out. Hopefully you guys are having a great 2021 so far. Let's leave all the bullshit in 2020. This is the last positive video I got before we get into the worst videos that y'all are waiting for. I just think that it was a great year for music. I think that 2020 is going to go down as one of the best music years we've had in the last decade. I think that 2020 definitely, ended the decade right. And yeah, that's how I want to keep it, man. Now we're into the new decade of 2021. We are now in my 30s. My 30s are literally getting ready to kick out. So this is actually going to be pretty crazy. So shout out to The Weeknd, man. Shout out to all you guys. Thanks guys for changing my life from a YouTube standpoint for the last decade. Thank you guys for changing my life. Thank you guys for changing my life financially. Thank you guys for supporting me. And thank you guys for just rocking with your boy. And again, hopefully I don't let you guys down in the future. Hopefully I can continue being the guy that I am and continue to do what I do. So that being said, man, get in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget, follow me when you're here. Like always, been talking too much, man. Thanks for the amazing year, man. We out. Peace.